Alright, so I was never planning on making an update video on this esportsbet DJ esports scam situation. And if you haven't watched my last video from December 2021 on esportsbet, who rebranded from DJ esports after they scammed a bunch of customers, I'll quickly cover that situation. So if you're unaware and you need to catch up on what happened, I'll go through it. But what I want to get into later in the video is some of the newer stuff that's come out, and mainly the fact that they're still scamming. They're still scamming users, and they're still getting heavily promoted by these esports influencers. Thorin, the main one, who knows something is dodgy is going on, but just can't piece it together. Monte Cristo, LS, IW Dominate. There's so many other people as well. They're also sponsoring tournaments and teams. They're all over the place. So I'm going to go through everything. So my personal experience with esportsbet, I signed up on the 18th of June 2021. I started placing bets. Everything was fine for the first few months. Then I had a couple of issues. They paid me out a different customer's withdrawal, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And then at random times, my balance just wasn't increasing after I'd won bets. So I'd then have to manually message a mod on Discord with the wager IDs of the bets to update my balance. I have no idea if this was on purpose, but I didn't even notice this until a couple months into betting. I had like so many bets on, I wasn't paying attention. But come to find out that these were just going to be some of the smaller issues that I would have with this site. So I withdrew some amounts over time. I was getting paid out at the beginning, everything was going fine, and I kept playing on the site until October 24th after I'd requested a withdrawal for a lot of my balance. They decided to close my account on October 24th. I believe my account had been closed before this for a few days. I cover it in the original video. I had around 1.2 Bitcoin on my account at the time when they closed my account, and this was worth £55,000. Uh, it sucks because I had no plans on holding this crypto. I was going to instantly sell it once I got the withdrawal process, but obviously this didn't happen. The email on screen is what I got sent at the time, and they said I was exploiting these tier 2 and tier 3 matches. I'll explain this tiering system in detail in a bit, but they offer me 25% of my account balance, so $16,500 USDT, which I ended up declining. I felt like if I took this amount of money they were offering, I was pretty much admitting that I'd done something wrong. So I was like, I'm just going to leave this money on the table. And another thing I'd like to add is they've given multiple reasons over time for not paying me out. And just 7 months ago, which we'll cover at the end of last year, I was told by one of their staff the conclusions on your situation are yet to be made, and we're currently reviewing your case, and you'll be contacted soon. And spoiler alert, I never got contacted after this. Now, 18 days later, I get a follow-up email. This has some table of information, but I can't read what's in this table. The text is way too small. I've tried to zoom in. I've tried to uh, do everything with the image. I cannot see what's inside this table. But what they're explaining on the outside of it is how my portfolio, that's how they like to categorize each player's betting habits by their betting portfolios, how my portfolio deviates from the normal player that bets on their site, which is I'm sure is true. It will be different, but this was because I was winning money, and 99% of people who gamble or bet are losing over the long term. In the same email at the bottom, they explain they have this grand idea of doing a community vote on the future of my account, meaning that people who own their cryptocurrency would vote on whether I got paid out or not. What this is based off, I have no idea. It's probably whatever information is in this table that I'm unable to read. So people who own their cryptocurrency coin would vote whether I got paid out £55,000. This ended up never happening, but this pretty much just shows the level of incompetence on their side when this actually got sent through to a customer. If you want to pause, you can read everything. I'm just trying to run through everything so that people are up to date on what's going on. And my original video back December 2021 has everything covered, so you can go and watch that. So to quickly run through this tiering system, it's beyond ridiculous, and it's that way for a reason. Esportsbet is the only betting site out of the 100 or so that I've used that has ever had a system like this in place. They just want an excuse not to pay customers out. That is the only reason for the system being in place. It's not to protect them, it's not to protect the customers. It is just so they cannot pay out. They categorize each competition to a different tier, right? So they've got like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And what they say is that you're required to have a healthy betting portfolio in order to keep your account in good standing, to keep your account alive, and to be able to withdraw winnings. And this means, according to them, mainly betting on these tier 1 games. Now, what percentage of bets need to be in these tier 1 games? Absolutely no idea. They never specify, and it changes all the time from customer to customer. I'll have some screenshots on screen right now that show them contradicting the amount, and the mods just were giving out at the time different information on what percentage needed to be on these tier 1 games. It's not like there's a meter on your account that shows the portfolio level. You have to reach out to their compliance on Discord to get these inaccurate updates. Now, when I started betting on the site, I signed up 18th of July. There was absolutely nothing about this system in their TOS, and I have a full recording of the TOS from September 2nd, and there's nothing on their site about this tiering system. Now, one day after they closed my account, October 25th, this date will be very important for later in the video, so please remember this date, October 24th, October 25th, these 2 dates. I got the email that they closed my account, and one day afterwards, they updated the entire TOS. So this new TOS includes this tiering system, and they put this here as a big excuse to keep all the customers' funds that they were planning on cutting off. So over time, they've made multiple updates to this tiering system. I'm not really sure how it works right now. Um, they have some compliance update channel in their Discord, but I've been banned from their Discord for a while, but I'm pretty sure they have all the information there. But pretty much all you need to know is that this whole system is designed to be complicated, convoluted, and something they can just refer to when they don't want to pay out a customer. It's not consistent at all. It's nowhere else in the betting industry, and it changes all the time. They would just make retroactive changes and not say anything and use it as an excuse, right? Uh, they've done it just to avoid paying out customers. An important thing to note is that even if you follow this system and you only bet tier 1 games and you do everything that they say, you will still not be able to withdraw if you win. I assure you of that. They will still use this excuse of the portfolio, and if not, they'll come up with a completely different excuse. They'll give you a bullshit percentage number and they will say that you don't meet the requirements and just close your account and not pay you out the money. Like I said, you are completely reliant on what their compliance team is telling you about this tiering system. There's no transparency whatsoever. So we've covered what's happened in my situation, the emails I got sent, the tiering system to some extent that they've implemented to steal funds from customers. There's a lot more stuff I cover in my original video. I'll have that in the description. It's quite boring, but I'd recommend checking it out because it has a lot more information than what I'm covering here. It also shows some of the gambling license stuff when they were literally lying about owning a PAGCOR license, a Philippines government gambling license. This got silently removed from their site after we contacted PAGCOR and they told us, yeah, like DJ Esports, esportsbet, they're not licensed with us. Um, so most of the time, this site has operated without any sort of license. So all this stuff was covered in my original video, but since then, a lot of interesting stuff happened, like the conversation I had with one of their support staff at the end of last year, December 2022, where he pretty much says they have no idea what's going on with my account and still don't have a proper reason as to why it was closed, even though I've been publicly accused of multiple things and I'm still not being paid out. But I've also found that so many other people have been scammed by this site, both back when I got scammed and more recently. A couple of days ago, I got messaged out of the blue by someone on Discord with a Twitter link to a user tweeting in Brazilian. He was saying that esportsbet wasn't paying him out and various other claims. So I DM'd him and I found out that he knew someone else who hadn't got paid out. Then I messaged this guy and he knew someone else. And the rabbit hole just went so deep. And it's not small amounts of money, like altogether, like $50,000, $70,000 they're taking at a time from customers. It's absolutely insane just how many customers they have done this to. And there's going to be so many more people out there that I'm like unable to find don't have a social media presence, aren't online, don't have the reach to find people to talk to about this. So I'm going to cover everything. So to run through some of the newer stuff before I get into the scams that I discovered, they had a bunch of articles written about their partnership with Moonpay. Moonpay is a crypto site where you buy and sell crypto. They had Dexerto.esports articles written about this. I ended up DMing Moonpay and asking them, do you have a partnership with esportsbet, DJ Esports? And they said no, they did not have a partnership with them at all. And many of these articles after I made this tweet were removed. There's this screenshot which someone is having a conversation with a customer support agent on their site who's apparently just the marketing guy but is using their customer support portal, saying that I am working for their competitor and they were creating a lot of odds with inside information to test whether I would or would not take these odds. I would just like you to pause and read this multiple times and truly think about what he's saying, because this is one of the most insane things that they've ever said publicly about me. And now I said one of the most insane things because they said something equally as insane right here, which you can actually still go on their Trustpilot and the reply is still there. I'm going to record me going on the Trustpilot page. This time they claimed that I was manipulating markets on multiple matches, okay, and betting using inside information on streamers who were throwing matches. Uh, Quick note, I have never placed one streamer bet on their site in my life. This is why I so desperately want them to release my bet history, and it will clearly show that I've never placed these bets. So I'm going to also give you a few more seconds to read this insane reply. It's just absolutely crazy the shit that they can claim without any proof whatsoever. There's some other stuff that happened, like the $10 million prediction series, which they advertised as a $10 million prize pool, but to my knowledge, only $9,400 was awarded. Apparently, $500,000 was awarded to the winner of this prediction series, and there was going to be a live stream, but this live stream mysteriously never happened, and I seriously doubt they paid out any reasonable amount of money. Um, so now onto the most recent conversation that I've had with a member of their support staff on Discord. Then after this, I'm going to jump onto the most important part of the video, which is the scams that they've done, which nearly got buried, but luckily I was made aware of this and I managed to get in contact with a lot of people. So in this conversation, he first establishes my case being reopened after they caught a network of cheaters linked to the same markets that I bet on previously. What markets are these? He will never say. I asked what markets they are and clarified that they publicly accused me of betting on streamer games from the Trustpilot, even though I had never placed a bet on any of these. He then replies with some nonsense, pretty much not recognizing that it takes 15 seconds to check my account if I'd bet on these streamer games, and it would instantly decouple me from this investigation, and then adds a point that these markets can't be released or the fraudsters will adapt. This is just complete bullshit to avoid saying anything concrete and to avoid taking any sort of responsibility. I explained that I refused the 25% offer back then, $16,500, I believe, that they sent when they closed my account on October 24th. And I asked why they said I bet on these streamer games when it was pretty clear that I didn't do that, and why a different customer was provided his full betting log. But then when I asked for the same, I was completely rejected. Same old lies, never approved of this, it shouldn't have happened, and then they just ignore my question on the streamer markets. He doesn't give any sort of answer to that. And by this, you can clearly see where this conversation is going. Classic esports bet dialogue. They have no clue what's going on themselves. Pure incompetence, and they're really just running like a rogue operation here. The conversation goes on from here, and I start writing full paragraphs, but it's more of the same. You can take the time and pause if you want to read all of it. But yeah, to sum up, it goes absolutely nowhere. They'll say anything to avoid taking responsibility. They never explain anything, and in the end, they stopped replying, obviously, so I never got a conclusion on this case. Really isn't surprising, but I have no idea why they decided to message me back in the first place if they were just going to end it like this. So this was in December 2022 when I had this conversation, and since then I was just chilling. I was like, I'm never gonna get anywhere. He's never gonna reply, so what's the point? And out of nowhere, I get a message on Discord by a friend to a link of a Brazilian Twitter user tweeting a bunch about esportsbet and how they were refusing to pay him out 20,000 BRL or about $4,000. Never seen this user before, so I DM him and he starts showing me messages that he had with the esportsbet support team, similar to the bullshit ones that I've got in the past, where they were basically just sent to avoid paying out a winning customer. This didn't surprise me at all, except he was being accused of employing machines, computers, software to circumvent gambling systems. And then they list two tier 1 matches and say abnormal betting patterns. They will literally give you any reason to not pay you out. And according to him, he had 90% plus on tier 1 matches. So he was betting 90% of the time on tier 1 matches. So he would have definitely hit whatever criteria they had set for the tier 1 matches. But to get rid of him, they had to come up with, another reason, obviously. And, after that, he started to tell me that there was other Brazilians who'd also had a bad experience with esports bet and who had been scammed, and he gave me the names of one of them, and I started talking to him. So he quickly put me in contact with another guy, Finicius, I think that's how you pronounce it, who got the same email I got when they closed my account. Not the exact same email, but the same template. But on the exact same day, October 24th, which is why I said earlier, remember that date, it's very important. October 24th, and the following day, October 25th, when they updated the terms of service. So at this point, I sort of clocked, like, I already knew it, but I reckon they cut off just a whole bunch of users, way more than I even know about, who probably don't have a online presence, nothing to, get the word out there. They probably took a shit ton of money and just took it for themselves of winning customers and then applied this terms of service bullshit as an excuse to, hide behind. Um, so as you can see in this email, the option 2 is forcing him into a 20 times turnover requirement on his balance. That's absolutely insane. And then I'll also show his reply, which he's basically saying that 90% of his bets were made on tier 1. He was just betting on worlds. And he was told that, he could withdraw if more than 80% of his bets were on tier 1. And this is what we were all told, that once we hit these requirements on Discord, not on their site, nothing was on their site, it was all through Discord, that we had to hit these requirements before our withdrawals were processed. So we were all, betting on tier one, and then boom, one day they just cut everyone off, and we have no chance of betting anymore, and all this terms of service is on the site. So, yeah, he put me through to another guy that was also scammed, and that's the guy I'm going to be covering next. So this is then the third Brazilian user that I got put into contact with who got scammed for about $20,000 in his currency, so about $4,000 US. At the exact same time in October when they cut me and the previous person finishes off, it was all orchestrated. They had the whole plan set out, and these screenshots really set in stone that that is what they were aiming for, to cut everyone off on the same date. And I'll quickly show the first screenshot, which they're pretty much just telling him why his account's locked. Everyone's account got locked around this time. I can't remember the exact dates, but it's shown in my original videos. Like, it's between the 20th and the 24th of October. They started locking everyone's account so they couldn't log in. And then mine got unlocked for like a couple hours and relocked. But they're pretty much just giving the excuse that the reason his account is locked is just a tech issue. This Blinken 42 guy who I interacted with as well. And then on this one, they're saying yours should be done today. I see it on the batch list, etc., etc. And then finally, on the 24th of October, they say, please check your email. You were contacted yesterday. And they sent the email about the tiering system to him. And he also has a conversation with a different moderator who has now deleted their Discord account. I have the same interaction with this moderator around this date, the same deleted user, who was not a fan of how they were running things and was basically trying to fight for us to get paid out. Unfortunately, he said I need a job, and all I can say is sorry and please wait for the reply from the compliance team. Finally, he gets a final reply from the compliance team on the 25th saying that they're just going to give him back his deposit and not paying out his winnings. And that is just how it goes with this site. I really want to know if anyone else from the Brazilian scene has had a bad experience with esportsbet or DJ esports back in the past. And if you have, send it to me and I'll take a look. Because I'm sure there's just so many other people that got cut off at this time. So I was talking to my friend about all this, and he was kind of mind blown. He started doing some digging, and he actually found two other people who posted on like some unknown forums. One of them from September 2022, the guy got scammed $1,700 for machine-assisted betting. He has the screenshot of the email that was sent to him on account closed, so I have no reason not to believe this. And this machine-assisted betting thing, the same excuse that was given for the first Brazilian user, Bath, this just doesn't exist. Like, you can't just run a machine to win for you. I'm not sure exactly what they're saying with this reasoning, but it makes absolutely no sense. Like, there's such things as betting models, but you wouldn't just like run a machine to win for you, if that makes sense. And I'm pretty sure what this guy would have been doing is just constantly refreshing their site to place the bets. Because I remember how terrible the software was on this site when I was using it, and how constant you would need to refresh the software or the UI just in order to place a bet properly. So yeah, that is number four of the people that we found. And then I found another guy in the same forum who had his account closed for abnormal betting patterns generally linked with abusive behavior. So there's a big pattern here of them just making up excuses at a rapid rate, and I've messaged this guy for a screenshot of the email, but just based off the text that he posted of the email in the thread, I can almost 100% vouch that this would have been the email they sent him and that it's a real email he received, because they always write the emails like this and then sign off at the bottom with DJ Esports compliance team or esportsbet compliance team. So yeah, I am 99% sure this is a legitimate claim that they are not paying out this guy's cash. 20 something months after, I was originally scammed and after I made the original video, they're still fucking doing it. They're still scamming people. Some of these people are more recent than others. Some of them were back when I got scammed. But I found these five people that I had no clue existed within days, and they all have similar emails that I received. Some of them being accused of machine-assisted betting, some of them abnormal betting patterns, some of them the tiering system, which was the same thing that I got cut off for. And according to these Brazilians, there's even more people out there who have also been scammed but just don't have, a social media presence. And there's probably way more people that they don't know about who live in other countries who don't have a social media presence or can't speak English and can't, get the word out there. Um, but yet to this day, Thorin, Monte Cristo, and others are still promoting this scam operation. I've tried to contact Thorin, that didn't work. One of these Brazilians tried to tweet at him, he ended up getting blocked. Where is the integrity here? Why are they still pushing people to play on this platform when number one, they have not been protected by a licensing body most of the time they're operating. Right now, I think they've got a Curacao license, but you know these customers are being forced to play by these insane tiering rules, and even if you follow all the TOS, the compliance Discord information that maybe 1% of the customer base is aware of, I want you to think for a second when you sign up for a site, when you go on the TOS on a site, do you actually read that shit or do you just scroll through? And on this site, you're not even required to read it when signing up. You just sign up and then it's an optional thing that you have to navigate to. And then furthermore, going to a Discord channel and reading all the compliance info there, it just makes no sense. So even if you follow all this shit, you'll still get cut off as you've seen and accused of something like machine assisted betting, abnormal betting patterns, no transparency, no accurate numbers, no proof as to why you get cut off. They give you nothing to work with. It's just a way to discard winning bettors and make more money, keep funds. So that's the update. That's where we're at. Maybe something will come for this, probably not. Wouldn't surprise me with how much they've got away with. But either way, it's completely fucked. They need to be held accountable for something, and they just need to stop getting promoted. Like, people are just signing up to the site. If you lose, it's fine. Like, a lot of people will probably reply saying, I've had a good experience with the site. Well, you've probably lost money, and then you've done a withdrawal, and they're seeing you're down, 5, 10,000, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, of course we're going to pay them out." But I'm telling you, if you win on this site, they will find a way to cut you off and to keep your money. So, that's everything I've got, and I'm just going to leave everyone with this beautiful clip.
Last year or so, I kind of stopped seeing metrics like where is the license as actually that valuable. Because if you haven't really noticed, like, what's really happening with any of those companies, like, Haven't we seen some of those companies have no clue? Some of those companies, quite frankly, seem predatory. Some of them seem actually, quite frankly, like, I don't know if you know this, but in the same way as in casinos, you can be like banned for winning too much. There's all sorts of fuckery. So just the fact that you've got the license, that doesn't suddenly make it carte blanche for everything else you do is awesome. Because I know these people, it's different now, right? Like, I know, for example, the marketing guy of DG Sports pretty well. He's the guy who's helped me with a number of my deals. I've gone to him with like business and questions and stuff. So as a result, I'm not just partnering with just a new set of people. I'm partnering with people I know and I trust already. So I'm going to put it this way. I can't say that these people have like all these reasons as to why, like, oh, like this is proven and this proven. It's a new site. But I will say this, I'll be the canary in the coal mine as I have for a number of different websites and organizations in the last few years. And if I ever find out there's anything dodgy going on or anything untoward or people are getting ripped off, I'll be immediately ending the partnership and I will be out of there.